Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? What is going on? Mets on top, episode 6. Your boy David from Top Bunk Sports, and I got my guy Randy. ¿Qué lo que, Randy?
Okay, okay, bro. What's going on? Randy talks Mets. What's going on, man? Man, baby. That's what
David,
I'm talking about. David Stearns is cooking, baby.
he's
David
not
Stearns,
sleeping.
he's cooking. He's
He's not
cooking.
sleeping. He's not sleeping.
He's
But
not
before
sleeping.
we get into before we get into all that, we got two very special guests that will be joining us, and one guy, well, two of them. It's very interesting because two of them called it before it actually came out. They predicted that Devin Williams will be a New York Met. So we only thought that it'd be right to have him on the show to discuss it. And let's bring him up here. The first one is Master Flip himself. Go look at Master Flip. Unmute your mic. There we go.
¿Qué lo que?
¿Qué lo
Estamos
que,
live aquí.
Flip?
Estamos
Estamos
live.
live. Estamos live.
Estamos live. Estamos
¿Qué lo que?
¿Qué lo que, yo?
¿Qué lo que, maní?
How we feeling? How we feeling? You feeling good?
We feeling good, bro. We got a major piece, bro.
Let's get it. Let's get it. And then
We definitely did.
And our second guest is another guy who predicted Devin Williams would be here. He did it kind of 8 days ago. And I'm gonna bring him up here, ladies and gentlemen. The one, the only, Eddie PRESTI. Eddie,
Yo,
Hey!
¿Qué lo que?
¿Qué lo
I don't
que?
know what it means. ¿Qué lo que?
what's going on? What's going on,
Nah,
man?
man.
Well, David Stearns, like I said, wasn't sleeping. Was doing his job. Had everybody else was kind of enjoying the Thanksgiving leftovers, kind of enjoying their vibes with the family while he was cooking. And he brought Devin Williams to the New York Mets, a 3-year deal worth over $50 million. And I'm gonna start with my co-host first. It's only right. Randy, what did you think of this pickup?
Oh no, I thought it was a huge pickup. I mean, when it comes to Devin Williams, I mean, credit to Flip. He talked about it. Devin Williams trying to sell me, trying to sell Queens Baseball, trying to sell everybody on Devin Williams. And this is a guy that was one of the best relievers in the game before he joined the Yankees. He's a really nasty reliever. They call him the airbender for a reason. People were talking about, oh, he was broken because Pete Alonso hit a home run in the playoffs. He's not broken. Okay. He's not broken. I think he will be fine. Devin Williams signs with the Mets for a 3-year deal. Huge deal, $50 million guaranteed. I mean, this is going to be very interesting because obviously you got Edwin Diaz, but you have to sign Edwin Diaz or you don't sign Edwin Diaz. That is going to be the interesting part about this. But if you sign this guy to be a setup man or closer, now you have some insurance. So I love it.
Absolutely.
And
Master
it makes
Flip.
sense, David, because he was
Go ahead.
in the Brewers, bro.
Right,
Makes sense.
right, exactly. Flip, how you feeling about this pickup?
I mean, look, Randy said it best. You take out 2025, we're talking about from 2020 to 24, one of the most dominant relievers in baseball. And that's what you secured. Either he pitches the 8th, pitches the 9th. My man David Stearns is not sitting around with his hands crossed. I think that when you have, Helsley, and then you got Iglesias coming off the market, it's a scarce position, the closer's position. You can't, sit around and wait for Edwin Diaz. There's a report that the Mets could possibly still be on Edwin Diaz, but you got your contingency locked down. We got my man Devin Williams.
Absolutely. Eddie, tell me how you feeling about this pickup.
I couldn't be happier with the move. Seriously, you get a guy like Devin Williams with his track record, like Flip just mentioned. Look at this guy's stats. Take out last year. Look at the stats before this. This guy's a top 3 closer in baseball, without a doubt. Gets a ton of strikeouts, and he's back with the guy who made him in David Stearns. And if you know one thing about Stearns, he can fix guys, and he's going to fix Devin Williams. And I think that Devin Williams is going to end up being our closer. And I think, even though I think it's going to, be hard for a lot of Mets fans to swallow, but I think Diaz's time is up here, and I'm okay with it. I've been okay with changing the score the minute they finished that season. I was down there in the last game. We didn't score a run in that last game. It was pathetic. And yes, Diaz is, losing Diaz is going to be tough, but you brought in a really, really good second option behind him. And if you want to sign Diaz, now you have leverage against him. Yo, if you don't want to sign here, I'm giving you a fair deal. We got Devin Williams. Yeah. So kind of take it or leave it. So I think it's a good strategy by the Mets.
Yeah.
Do you think that they still pivot though? My fault, Randy. I
No,
just
no,
want
no.
to
Go
add. Do
ahead.
you
Do you,
think
do you think that
do you
they
think
still
they still
pivot?
pivot to where they go after a Robert Suarez, who could be on a less of a cheaper deal
De-
compared to Edwin Diaz?
Depending on what he's going to ask. So
Okay.
if Suarez is willing to take 15 to 17, I think it could be a possibility. Because think about it. What does Edwin want? 24, 25?
He
You're
wants
getting
Around there.
2
22 around there. Around
Mhm.
there.
for $30 million. Really, you're getting it for the same price with the money deferred. So I could see Suarez coming here also with $5 million deferred, and that kind of those two equal equal Edwin Diaz. So that could be the play as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Either way, it's a great plan.
I
Right.
mean, you're talking about Devin Williams, one of the best relievers in the game. Robert Suarez is a really impressive reliever. He doesn't get a lot of love,
No.
but because obviously Edwin Diaz is the reliever of the year. He had an amazing year. But Robert Suarez, man, he is a really good reliever, and he deserves credit. He really does deserve some credit here.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you look at his numbers real quick. I know everybody talks about how he started off the year with the Yankees on a bad momentum. I mean, it took Aaron Boone to do the uncomfortable thing and take him out the closer's role. They put Lou Weaver in there for a couple games. They had Devin Williams come in as a setup man in the eighth inning. But again, 18 saves. He had a 4.79 ERA with 90 strikeouts and a WHIP of 1.13. You look at his stats. Not too bad. Like I said, the way he finished off was better than how he started. He pitched 67 games. He was 4-6, right, with a 400 win percentage. He had a WAR of negative 0.3. Like I told you guys, the ERA was 4.79. He had 90 Ks. Like I said, he's walked 25, which is not bad. The most he's walked in his career was in 2022. He walked 30. So he walked 5 less. 3.6 strikeouts per walks. Gave up 45 hits. Again, I think for a guy that had a lot of pressure coming in because of the fact that this was the guy that gave up a clutch game-winning home run to Pete Alonso. The Yankees took a chance on him. Again, didn't really succeed to what the Yankees expected. A lot of Yankee fans wanted him out. And David Stearns is looking at this as a Clay Holmes 2.0, where it's like, okay, I'm gonna take this guy who wants to be in New York, and we're gonna make him better than what we saw last year. Flip, I'll start with you. What's the upside? What is the pros and cons? I'll say it like this. What is the pros and cons of having Devin Williams in his bullpen, considering how much this bullpen struggled last year?
I mean, you gotta give me the it depends what his role is going to be. I mean, we know he can be an elite setup man. We know he can be shocky at the back end. But again, you know, with this move, you got to sell me on it. It can't end there. You know, we gotta fill in the rest of the, you know, the middle relievers. We got to bridge the gap to, if he's going to be the closer, we got to bridge the gap to him. We spoke about it earlier in the space, a possible, you know, Rogers bringing him back. We got Minter coming back in, you know, next year, but it can't end there. We gotta, if you're gonna double up and go get an Edwin Diaz, go do it. But
Yeah,
you got to give him some protection.
Flip, do you think Brooks Raley could be a setup man? I guess if Devin Williams is your closer, do you think he could be an 8th inning guy or maybe a 7th inning guy? What do you think about what Brooks Raley showed in 2025? I know he was coming off a big injury, but I thought he pitched pretty well. What do you think about him and kind of that role? It's hard to say, I know that, but
I don't want to go into 2026 and say that Brooks Raley is my 8th inning guy. I want to say that Brooks Raley is one of the guys that I can lean on late in the game, but I need more than a Brooks Raley in the back end.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Right.
It makes sense. It makes perfect sense. I think Devin Williams, I mean, you hope that he's your setup man and Edwin Diaz is your closer or Robert Suarez, but you know, the Met fans, I know they want Edwin Diaz back. I want Edwin Diaz back. I just don't see Edwin Diaz being on another team. I just don't. But I think it's going to be I'm just surprised that he hasn't signed yet. I'm surprised that Edwin Diaz hasn't signed. Are you guys surprised? Like, Eddie, are you surprised that Edwin Diaz has not signed in December.
No. I'm not surprised at all. This guy's the top closer on the market. Been the top closer for the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, of course he's not going to sign. This guy's looking for a mega deal. I don't blame him. I'd be doing the same thing if I was in his position. I really don't think Diaz is going to be back here. I think we're going to use this money to sign other things, to address other needs, probably starting pitching, getting that outfielder, getting that DH, getting that first baseman if needed. This, again, $15 million is a big difference than $28 million a year. So I really think that I think Devin's going to be the closer. I really do. Wow. I think we're going to add to the bullpen in other ways. And one thing about Stearns, he's always put a good bullpen together. So with the exception of the trade deadline, but I have faith in Stearns there.
Absolutely. Shout out to the 300 that is in here. We appreciate you guys taking the time to join us on this late
we really
Monday. But David Stearns, David Stearns said he ain't wasting no time. Let's look at the comments real quick before we keep it going. We got the Pope in the building. He says, hashtag Queens Baseball, hashtag Division. He wants to keep violating and say hashtag Buxton, hashtag sorry top. He's never going to let me down. He's never going to let that down until Buxton, either he's here or not. He said hashtag not sorry top.
What's the Buxton love, bro? I don't get it.
Well, the thing with me, the last time, I think it was the day before yesterday, me and Randy went on a live, and I basically said when it comes to Byron Buxton, of course, they'll take him because they get Joe Ryan. The thing with me, I'm fine with Joe Ryan. I think Joe Ryan's a really good pitcher, right? The thing with Buxton is that he's hurt a lot, so I can't just automatically eliminate that and just look at of course, you're going to look at the positives. He's literally one of the best defensive center fielders in the league. He hits for power. He hits for contact. Like, you'll take all of that. But he's been injured so much that I can't just look away from that. So, I said, and Randy's my witness, I said that I'll take him if it means he's doing both between playing the field and DHing. That way he's not playing all the time to where he's a liability and he ends up getting hurt, because he gets hurt a lot. So I said I'm okay with that. If it's where he's playing every day, of course I gotta be a little bit worried and be a little bit scared, because he's been hurt for so much. You know what I'm saying? And I know people are like, well, for 130 games, he gives you a lot of production that a lot of center fielders don't. I get that, but you can't just not take the injury factor. You can't eliminate that. You got to take that. You got to take that into questioning. So, I just think the Buxton thing, it would make sense because it's a cheaper thing. But we can't just not talk about his injury history.
Yeah. And it's a weird dynamic. Like, we're getting both Ryan and Buxton. I mean, that's gonna cost a lot. That's like your whole farm system, pretty much. Right. I mean, at least not everybody, but you get what I mean. I
would think Carson Benja's in that deal, in my opinion.
I would think everybody's on the line in that.
Wow. Right. And we keep it going with the comments. Rube giving us some stats. Devin Williams, 3-year, $51 million agreement with the Mets also includes a $1 million assessment bonus if he is traded. Source tells The Athletic. And then he says $17 million AAV. In parentheses, he is no setup man. So Rube is saying that for them to pay him this money, he should be the automatic closer, especially, if Diaz doesn't come back. Shout out to my guy, Tommy Guns. He says, yo, showing love. We made it. Hey, listen, it's no matter how you feel about this, I'm not upset about it, because they've already shown with Clay Holmes that they could take a guy from across town.
Yep.
And Clay Holmes didn't do that bad. Like, Clay Holmes, I'm excited for the second year's Clay Holmes.
He finished 9th in ERA. He did not have.
All right, it was great. How about that second to last game of the year, fellas? Come on.
He did. He had a good season, and I think he's going to build on that and hopefully have a better season than he had in his first season. So what do you guys think is next, Eddie and Flip? Well, I mean, let's start with Flip here. What do you think is next? Do you think it's a pitcher? Do you think it's an outfielder? Who you think is next, and what do you think is next?
I mean, we got to figure out this Edwin Diaz situation, honestly, because look, we're in the same scenario as we are with the starting rotation. How do we make our starters better? How do we make Nolan McLean better? Well, you got 2 starters ahead of him. How do you make AJ Minter, Brooks Raley, and Devin Williams better? Well, you either bring in a guy to bridge the gap to one of those guys, or you just bring in Edwin Diaz in the back end, it just pushes everybody else back one. So you know what? Figure out if Edwin Diaz is a possibility still. Try to create that two-headed monster in the back end to shorten the games, and we go from there. We got to pivot fast. If Edwin Diaz is not a possibility, you know what? Again, go pivot.
Yeah.
Yep. I made a post earlier. I asked Flip for permission to use his Kyle Schwarber uniform swap. I think Kyle Schwarber's next.
I'm on board. I'm on board.
We're going to sign Schwarber. I think we're going to give him $30 million plus. I think we're going to give him maybe $5 or $6 million deferred. So he's going to get a lot of money, and we're using that as leverage. So to either, yo, Pete, here's our offer, take it or leave it. If not, we just got Schwarber. So that's the same thing we're doing it with Diaz right now. So that's why I think Schwarber's next.
So you get Schwarber, and that's your automatic DH.
Full-time DH.
If Pete does not come back unless he goes to Boston, I'll start with Eddie since Eddie's been on it since the report came out that they're in the mix. Eddie, what do you think their pivot is at first base if Pete doesn't come back?
It could be in-house or it could be via trade. You know, we get somebody via trade, or I mean, is Ryan Clifford up for it? Maybe Beatty goes to first base. I don't know who. I really don't know who would be the next first baseman in the New York Mets.
They go for Ty France, maybe.
Ryan
Or
O'Hearn, maybe.
could be Bellinger, right? You know, Bellinger, and then you use maybe Vientos at first when Bellinger's in the outfield. You know, there's a lot of different ways.
I think Bellinger gives you a lot of options. That's what I like.
Hell yeah,
That's what I'm saying. But this is what I told Randy in our last live.
Yeah,
I understand Randy's point of saying, "Yo, there's too many lefties in this lineup." The problem is, it's not even a problem. I can't even think about the lefties in the lineup when all I could think about is versatility from a player that not only has one, because he has won a ring, a guy that has been to the main stage, a guy that has played multiple positions. He's played left field, he's played center field, he's played first base. So if Pete Alonso doesn't come back, yes, I understand you're going to be missing a chunk of that power, but I'm okay with the versatility of Cody Bellinger when he's at least going to give you 20 plus, at least.
Oh, forget about it.
He'll probably give you 25, maybe 30 if he's on a scorching month, but at least I'll take that. And you know what I'm saying?
And I'll say this.
Get that versatility. Right.
To get that first baseman, I think it's going to be McNeil or Senga that gets you him via trade. Kind of makes sense with Senga, $15 million. You offer the upside of being a number one ace. And then even with McNeil, yes, you're probably going to have to eat some of that money to get a quality first baseman. But I could see one of those two guys going out for a first baseman.
Yeah.
Right.
Flip, what do you think about if you get Kyle Schwarber here as a DH? Obviously, you're not bringing back Pete Alonso, and you get Okamoto as a first baseman. How do you feel about that?
That's my guy, and that's my option. Only because, look, I know he doesn't want to get traded. His name is floating around, but Kodai Senga might get traded. And I just think that Steve Cohen is a businessman. You want to expand your brand internationally. The Mets, you want to be in the Japanese market. So Okamoto's my guy.
But you guys, with not Okamoto, I'm talking about the other one. What's his name? The other one that got posted. No, the very first one we're talking about.
Murakami, that guy?
Option. Yeah. Do you guys, because I know his name's kind of been floating around in terms of that his name linked to the Mets. Are you guys afraid of his defense? Because I heard his defense is
suspect
of his game. Is a suspect, right?
His defense is a little suspect. I think if we would go for one of those talents, I think we would go for Okamoto because he can play third base, he can play first base, and he's a good defender. Good bat to ball skill guy. Murakami gives you the power, gives you a lot of power. He had some issues. There's been some reports about him hitting plus 95. He has some problems with that. I did see him hit a plus 95 or 94 home run. It was in the WBC. So I don't know if that's the case. I don't know. But I don't think Murakami would be a fit for the New York Mets. but I could see Akamoto. I really could see that.
I could too. I think it's a great point. The fact that you brought up he could play all over the place. And one thing we know about Stearns, he likes versatility.
Yeah. I mean,
Absolutely.
also they can trade for maybe a Yandy Diaz. They can go for somebody like that.
That's I was thinking.
Options that maybe are out of the box. We've heard that the Mets have been interested in Yandy Diaz before.
And Tampa's been linked to McNeil.
So, yeah. And McNeil, that's a guy I could see gone soon.
If the Mets consider Kyle Schwarber, then what are we doing with Mark Vientos? I mean, he's either going to be our first baseman or he's traded, right? So,
well, they'll probably say he's our first baseman as of now, right? That'll be the we're
talking about scenario. We're going to entertain a Kyle Schwarber and maybe a Pete back then. You know what I'm saying? Like Mark Vientos is as good as gone.
I think he is gone. Well, I mean, David, what do you? I mean, we think.
I don't know. For some reason, I feel like although he keeps preaching run prevention, it doesn't seem to me like they want to give up on the hopes and dreams of Mark Vientos. It doesn't. This is why if the Kyle Schwarber thing doesn't happen, I think they keep him as a DH and tell him we just want you for your power. And if they don't address their third base situation, which I keep saying they should go after Bregman, but obviously Bregman's going to want a lot of money, so they might not want to pivot that way. Yeah. Brett Beatty's gonna be a third baseman because he is the better defender within Mark Vientos, between him and Mark Vientos. So I think they still establish that mentality of developing our guys in-house within those two. And then obviously you address the center field situation with a Carson Bench if Carson Bench is given that opportunity like he's mentioned before. So they're still establishing something to where it's like, okay, where I'm trying to stay on point with run prevention. I'm trying to stay on point of trying to give my in-house guys the opportunity, which he can do there. The only thing that needs to be addressed, in my opinion, like I said, has to be left field. And that's where, again, Cody Bellinger comes in. Maybe they go in for a Kyle Tucker where they have a conversation with Juan Soto and be like, yo, Juan, you started as a left fielder. You look comfortable in left field. Let's see if we can get you back to that. And let's try to give the bag to Kyle Tucker and try to boost this offense as much as we need, which I don't think is going to happen because I think Kyle Tucker is looking for a crazy amount of money.
Yeah, he's way out of our price range, top to be
right.
respectful.
Or we can put the crown on Master Flip and call San Diego and be like, yo, what y'all want for Tatis at this point? Because listen, I'd rather do that.
Queens.
If they're gonna take a big contract, I might as well just give the prospects away. I'm not a prospect hugger. Go get Tatis in his prime and go bring me a World Series now. Because I think,
Also remember, 2 outfield spots. The Cubs are looking to trade either Happ or Suzuki. They are looking to deal one of them. They have their top prospect coming up. Both, I mean, Happ is a left fielder. He's a solid left fielder. He's decent. Suzuki's a very good right fielder. Not the best at fielding, but his arm is in the 93rd percentile. Yeah. So that makes
a good bat, Eddie.
Yeah, he's got a fucking phenomenal bat. He's probably the best bat on the Cubs.
I mean,
absolutely.
His name was tossed around at the trade deadline. So if I was the Mets, they're looking to save money. Chicago's looking to save money. So I would start maybe with a deal with Senga.
Yeah, I think
Senga there. Interesting. Throw them some money maybe for Senga and take a Suzuki back. And Suzuki's a right-handed fucking hitter, and he could play. To me, he's a good fielder. When I watch him, the eye test tells me he's an excellent fielder, but the metrics actually don't. But the guy's bat can't be denied.
No, yeah.
And he's got a year left on the deal. So 1 year,
he has a year
million.
left on the deal?
Yeah, him and Happ are both at 1 year, $19 million. And they're both good options via trade. And they're not going to cost you top prospects because they have outfield prospects. And they have I forgot what his name was. But that they want to promote him. They want to promote that kid.
Let me see. But who's the 10 teams that Kodai Senga can't be traded to? I want to know that.
It wasn't posted yet, but it was obviously
hasn't been posted.
No, but it was obviously Will Salmon Will Salmon came out with the article and obviously said that there's 10 teams that Senga can decline to get traded to if the Mets decide to trade him to one of those 10 teams. Like I said, it from the article, I haven't read anything else, but it wasn't posted in the article. That only that part was posted, that he can't get traded to 10 specific teams, which I didn't know about.
Yeah,
We have so many conversations about Kodai Senga's contract that's the last. I don't ever remember us talking about that in any of the spaces. Flip, I don't know if I wasn't there and you were a co-host and we talked about that part, but I don't remember us ever talking about how they said he can't get traded to 10 specific teams. I wasn't shocked, staying on the Senga conversation. I wasn't shocked that he said he wanted to stay, but I think if you're not going to use him as a number 4 or 5 option on your starting rotation, I think it's best that you can try to move him and try to tell him, listen, you still got great stuff. You're still looked at as one of the top pitchers in the league, even though you kind of struggled. Let's get you away from the pressures of New York, because obviously you kind of struggled here. Let's get you somewhere where you can restart, like I've said with Devin Williams and Clay Holmes, and just do what's best for you. And let's see what we can get back. I'll start off with Flip. Flip, if you had to trade Kodai Senga somewhere, where would it be and why?
Well, look, I'm not in a hurry to trade Kodai Senga. I just think that for a guy who I understand his second half struggles. I understand he missed all of 24. But for a guy with a 3 ERA, are we in a hurry to trade this guy on a team-friendly deal? You know what I'm saying? Like,
great stuff.
That's the type of guy I want in my rotation. I can't give you teams I would trade him to. I got to see who we can't trade him to first, but I'll be honest, I'm inclined to keep him.
What makes you have that belief in Kodai Senga?
Kodai Senga
and the reason that Randy's asking is because Randy wants him traded. I just want to put that out.
No, I think Flip is just pointing out to the simple fact of his resume. When he pitches and he's healthy, he's dominant. I mean, it's a fact.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you guys think that he still has that dominant stuff though?
Yes.
Okay.
That goes forkball is phenomenal. Sorry, Flip.
He had that stuff for 2/3 of the season until he melted down the last month and change. But he was our ace and he was pitching like a Cy Young type pitcher for 2.5 months. So I'm saying, like, to go by recency bias and say that this guy doesn't have it, I think he's still got something left in the tank.
You think it's like Met fans jumping the gun too much?
On Senga?
Yeah.
Not necessarily, just because of what Stern said that last day. What did he say? We can't count on Kodai Senga.
Can't count on him for like 30 starts.
That's what he said. So that's where this is all coming from.
With Met fans, I think if you give Met fans 2 solid starters at the top of the rotation, we're okay with having a Kodai Senga 4th or 5th in the rotation. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you told me that we got Kodai Senga, and you're David Stearns, and you're trying to sell me Kodai Senga to be a frontline starter, then I have an issue with that because of the issues that we mentioned.
Right, exactly. Unless there's a perfect trade where the Mets go and they look at that trade and say, "Nah, we have to trade Senga." I think for what he still gives you, he's got a really good fastball. His fork ball is crazy. He's still got good movement on his pitches. Again, you just need him to kind of set in a little bit more. He's obviously dealt with injuries. That's something you can't ignore. And then you have a conversation with him. You'll be like, "All right, listen, we'll keep you. But understand that you're not a number 1 or number 2 option anymore. We're going to put you as a number 4 or 5 where you don't really have to deal with a lot and you can reset yourself. You could be in a more comfortable situation where you're not relied on so much, where we already have guys. For example, they go out there and they sign Framber Valdez. That's your number 1. He's easily your ace. Your number 2 could possibly be who?
McClain.
Holmes.
Trade. Or trade.
Or trade, right? Or a trade. Let's say they go out there and they trade for Freddie Peralta. Framber Valdez and Freddie Peralta, you're 1 and 2 easily. That one of the best rotations in the league. Because then your number 3 is Nolan McClain. Are you
what
kidding
happens
me?
to Sean Manaea?
What happens David P.
What happens to those guys? Like, what?
They have to become innings eaters. That's what they have to become.
That's a conversation that you need to have with the Sean Manaea who's on the decline. Remember, I understand people are like, listen, you're paying this guy 3 years, $75 million. Okay, cool. But at the end of the day, the money kind of fades away when he's not giving you the production that you're paying for. And again, this is and since he's been paid since he's been given that contract, we've only seen 1 year of a struggling Sean Manaea because he was hurt to start the year. I understand that. So some people might look at that and be like, well, he needs to prove himself on a 2nd-year deal because, he was coming back from injury when you guys brought him in. I get that. But then we're also talking about a guy in David Peterson who, didn't have a great 2nd year, but is still trying to be like, yo, I that 2024 year wasn't a fluke. I have something to prove.
Yeah,
So,
he's,
what I'm saying? There's a question there.
So my issue when it comes to him was 2024 just like a good year, and he's gonna go revert back to who he always kind of was, or did he have that injury? Right, the injury kind of fucked up his whole season, and okay, bring him back. We got nowhere to go. We can't trade the guy. It makes way too much money. You have to fix him now. And for me, the ideal situation for him was he's got to give you the innings because you're not sure what you're getting. Like after McClain and after that first starter that we all want, right? Then it comes down to adding innings eaters, right? You got to get guys that pitch you at least 150, 160 innings a year. You have to have it. I would almost want more, 170. I don't know if that's there for Manaea, but I would do everything on my power to make him stretch out that arm because we need guys that eat innings. Look how bad that we had a good bullpen at the deadline. We did. It just they were used too much. Yeah, and it backfired on them.
Way too much. But David Peterson, credit to what you're saying. This is a guy you saw in 2024. I think he was coming back from like some injury or something, right? He didn't pitch for the full year. 2025, he started out healthy. He started out pitching for the full year, and he got tired in the second half during the end there. He got tired. I don't think David Peterson has had a 33-game season. He's never had that season. And that's a big thing. He hasn't had those innings yet. He hasn't. So I think he was tired in the second half in 2025, and it showed. It really, really showed. And the Mets didn't have a choice when it comes to taking David Peterson out of the rotation or anything like that because none of those other guys was giving them innings.
No.
None of them. Kodai Senga, nothing. No, not giving them
Manaea. Nothing.
Manaea in the second half, nothing. It's just ever since Senga's injury, he wasn't the same. Sean Manaea coming back from the injury wasn't the same as 2024. And David Peterson, you saw what happened. And that was detrimental to the Mets. That's exactly why the Mets didn't make the playoffs. Because of those three guys having just decline and just drop down.
Losing Canning as well. That was another person. Even though
Canning got injured,
kind of stalking a little bit, he was eating up innings. He was going 5 innings every time almost. Yeah. Even 6 at times. So I don't know. Maybe you look into bringing him back as like a 6 or a depth piece for $5 million or something.
This season just showed Eddie and Flip and Top. It's just this. You need guys that are inning eaters, like you're saying. You need guys that can pitch 6 innings day in, day out.
In the bullpen too, Randy. Like you like as much as we shit on Tyler Rogers, that guy averages like 80 innings pitched a year. And now that we fixed this infield, I think it might be wise to bring him back. I don't think he's going to cost you so much. He's kind of getting up there in age. The fastball's never going to be there. We know that. If he's just inducing ground balls in the 5th or 6th inning, or even the 7th, if our pitching gets that far, then we're in a good position. You know what I'm saying? And he's a guy that eats innings, and it's not going to cost you too much money. So I'd definitely look into bringing back Tyler Rogers.
I don't know exactly what it's going to cost, but
maybe 8 million, 9 million. Is that too much to ask?
I mean, Flip, he had a 1.98 ERA. What do you think about bringing him back?
I mean, we got to bring somebody back, and we already saw what we got in him. He had a great year. Bring him back.
I'm with you.
Absolutely.
Look, just soft contact. We got good defense up the middle with the addition of Simeon. You know what I'm saying? Like, bring him aboard.
Yeah,
absolutely. Let's look at the comments for a little bit. And shout out to the 666 that is in here watching. Appreciate y'all. We got Victor Garcias who came in and was talking while we were discussing the Bellinger situation. He said Bellinger can play first too. He said he's a pure DH. We got Russell Villa in the building. He said Murakami, when we were talking about the Murakami, he said Murakami would be a pure DH because his defense is not good. He also said Vientos can't field. Absolutely. And then we got my guy Dishlau in the building. He said Schwartz, Tatis, Diaz, King, which he's talking about Michael King, and Valdez. Schlapp's wish list. Shout out to all of you. Hashtag tu sabe. De lo mío, tu sabe. And then we got JH03. He says, I can concur on bringing back Rogers. Absolutely. I think Rogers kind of. I think he's owed a second chance here. I don't think he was.
Definitely.
I don't think he was that bad. Obviously, he had some innings where, he was giving up a little bit of contact, but he wasn't as bad. He had his moments. Thank God they didn't go the Ryan Helsley route, and Ryan Helsley's going in the Baltimore.
Goodbye.
Oh, the Ryan Helsley situation.
Jeez.
Oh my God.
Jeez, Helsley.
Oh
yeah. But no, going back to the conversation about the rotation, it's interesting that David Stern said, listen, that I'm looking into bringing in just one starter. So then if that's the case and they go the Framber Valdez route, then you're talking about a possible Valdez as your number one, maybe a Peterson as your number two, maybe Clay Holmes as your number two, and then McLean as your number three. The only reason why I would put McLean as your number three is because not only does it balance out the rotation, but it kind of puts him in a situation where he's not facing too much pressure pitching behind your number one starter. So we could possibly do that. They could possibly flip it, but there's a lot of pitching options right now that they have to deal with, whether fans like it or not. I know not a lot of people like Chaminade right now because of what he showed last year, but you're gonna have to use him. Again, like Eddie said, he's on a big contract. He's owed too much money to just not use him in the rotation. They're not going to put him in the bullpen like that. No. They're going to try to see what they could get out of him as a starting pitcher. And if it ends up failing, then maybe they'll have a conversation with him and they'll be like, listen, we'd rather just be safe with you and put you in the bullpen. But you could also do that with Clay. And that's why Clay Holmes is such a big factor when it comes to his rotation, because, again, he gives you two different perspectives. This is a guy that has had 1 year in 2018 as a starter. Then they put him as a reliever. They put him as a closer. Well, he started off as a setup man, and then they moved him as a closer. So he's pitched most of his career as a reliever, and then the Mets brought him in as a starter. So if you really want to balance it out, and you really want to balance not only your starting rotation, but your bullpen, you can have a conversation with Clay and be like, listen, why don't we put you in the bullpen and just see how this works out with the guys that we have to use in our rotation as of right now, and make that way they can be more flexible. I'll give it to Randy first. Randy, what do you think about that?
No, I look. I mean, you talk about a Framber Valdez in his rotation. You're talking about a special rotation. I mean, you're talking about Framber Valdez, McLean, Clay Holmes, David Peterson, maybe a Kodai Senga. I mean, and maybe a Chaminade either in the bullpen or in the rotation. I don't know how many I just named. Hopefully I didn't name 6, but if I did, maybe one of those guys go into the bullpen. I love Framber Valdez. I would love him on this team. I think he's a guy that is an elite starting pitcher. He's an elite starting pitcher. You've seen him win. You've seen what he can do. He's a guy with a track record, about to be 33 in April. There's a lot to love when it comes to Framber Valdez. Obviously, the situation with the catcher, it is what it is. Hopefully, he has learned from that. But
I'm not a one-play thing, Randy. I really wouldn't get into that.
What, the catcher?
Yeah, I mean, don't you guys agree? I mean, don't you think it was a little blown out of proportion?
People would take that. People are taking that to heart, like, oh, he's a bad guy or something like that. I don't think he's a bad guy. I don't think he's a bad guy.
I think he was vexed. I think he was amped. You know what I'm saying? I think that's it.
Yeah.
I don't look at that any more than it is. It's one pitch. Yeah. That's all it was.
I mean, if he is a bad guy, I'll take it. This team needs attitude. This team needs somebody to be like, yo,
fucking nice guys.
This team does need some attitude. You know what I mean? I mean, right. Flip, what do you think about Valdez, like, in the rotation?
I mean, we're talking about acquiring innings eaters, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Valdez, how many innings that he pitched in 25, 190 plus. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of horse you want on top of your rotation. But as far as bumping a Clay Holmes from the rotation, look, what do we need? We need guys to pitch innings. Are we going to bump a guy who pitched 160 plus innings out of the rotation? No. Clay Holmes needs to be part of the solution, but
Oh no, yeah.
you need to push guys down. You need to push Clay Holmes to a number 4. You need to push McLean from a 2 to a 3 and get a guys who can give you, 150 plus at the top of the rotation.
Right. I see a
Yeah.
comment here by Jarrell Carell. Shout out to you, bro. Thanks for joining. He says, my question is, does Framber signing take the Mets out on Scooble next winter? What do you guys think?
It shouldn't. Because
Yeah.
Where does our payroll stand now with the Devin Williams? We were at 250. With
265. Actually, it's less than that because he deferred money, right? So it's probably about 262.
So we were at 250. With the deferrals, I think it's going to add another 15. So we're at what, 265, right?
265.
Right.
If we add Framber at 30, you know what I'm saying?
295. 290, give or take.
Assuming we add 100 to the payroll this year to put us at around the 350 range, we can absolutely afford a Scooble next season, especially given that in 2 years, we're going to have a bulk of the money coming off the payroll.
Yeah, and let's see where it goes to. Let's see, listen, when it comes to Framber Valdez, the guy to me he's a proven winner. He's been part of those Houston Astros teams that have won. He's been, the heart and soul of those teams, as far as I'm concerned, as far pitching wise. I know they've had a lot of other guys there too, but he's on the free agent market. I like him. Do I love him? I don't. I prefer to get two guys via trade, just because that's going to keep the cost down, because we have so much to add. Right? If we have to add a Bellinger, if we, there's going to be a lot more payroll coming in, right? If we have to add a couple of relief guys, we're going to have to address the first base situation if Pete leaves. There's a lot at play here. I like Framber. 30 is a little high for me, but if he's willing to take deferrals, sign me up. Give him 6-7 years. I don't care. The deferrals to me are what's important, because I want to keep this payroll down and add as many guys as we can. Let's use that Dodger blueprint. And also on top of that, I'd like to see the Mets add as much starting pitching depth as possible. And when I say that, I mean 6, 7, 8. We see teams every year. We went through this. The Dodgers went through it the year before. Teams lose starting pitching. It happens. Guys get injured. We see it. So let's add guys on value, on whether it's a minor league deal or $3-4 million, guys like Griffin Canning types, where they could just come in, not much is expected, but they are a depth piece and could come in and give you real innings and pitch successfully, not bums, real depth. And we have the money to do that as well.
Yeah, I think a guy like I think it was Zach Eflin. Somebody was mentioning that before. Could be
How much would he command, Randy?
I don't know exactly how much he would command. I think he didn't have a good season. I think he was 6-5 with a 5.93 ERA, but he's been good in the past.
Okay.
I don't know exactly how much he would command though. I'm trying to think of.
Well, I mean, why not go back to Griffin Canning and just offer him the same contract?
He's gonna be gone. He's gonna be done for the year. So, Griffin Canning.
Oh, he'll be out this year as well?
Yeah, he's out. He's out.
What did he have? He had Tommy John?
He had an Achilles tear or something like that.
I didn't know he was going to be out for 2 seasons. I know Tommy John does that. I didn't think it was that.
Let me see.
If it was Tommy John, then he's definitely done.
Yeah, but at the same time, Eddie, I'm kind of done with the retreads in a way.
What I mean, Top, this is just simply depth. If we have that injury, okay, a guy could come in here, give you 5 innings, give me a quality start.
Yeah,
I know quality starts are few and far between nowadays.
Eddie,
right?
maybe a Christian Scott could give you that.
Fine, and I'm fine with that. I'm cool with that. Give me these guys that are not great, but they could offer innings if an injury occurs. And Sanga kind of needs 6 days rest.
Yeah. Shout out to Joselito, bro. Joselito, go sign Diaz and bring Tatis, bro. Shout out to Joselito. Man, listen, We talking
I
about
just wanna let y'all know when Flip does his annual opening day tailgate, he's not gonna have the DR flag this time. He's gonna have the Mets flag with Tatis in front of the logo. It's
There you
gonna
go.
happen.
Hashtag
Oh.
Tatis Queens.
Hashtag
I'm tweeting that,
Tatis.
bro.
hashtag
Yo,
Tatis
it's
the
happening.
Queens.
It is.
Hashtag
It listen. If it
Jump the
happens,
on, baby.
if it happens, yo, Master Flip.
Yo, the
Oh my
over under.
God,
Listen,
bro.
I set the over under at Dominicans acquire this winner at 3. So you
Nah,
know,
me
I
and
think it's gonna
Yo,
be
I
more
need
than
it.
that.
you're slacking, David Stearns.
yo,
Yo,
and Flip, bro, we pissed off San Diego, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Ha!
yo,
Yo, that would be a
2026
dream, by the way. That would be a dream.
2026 is about to be the
Jose
year of
Lito said it's
DRs,
gonna
right?
happen, baby.
Team
Yo,
DR.
2026 is gonna be the year DR. You got the DR winning the World Baseball Classic, and then you got Tatis coming to the Mets. Jesus Christ.
Bro,
That would be
boy.
so
I
dope.
love it. I love it, Joselito. I love it.
Jarrell says, appreciate the answer. Stearns will cook all offseason. Cohen's willingness to spend and put back into the team is amazing. Absolutely. I think Cohen's riding high off of the approval for the $8 million dollars spending that he will be doing on revitalizing the Flushing. I think it's good for the community. I think it's a good look overall. I know people kind of clowning him because they're like, he cares about that more than he cares about spending on the team, which is total bullshit. But at the end of the day, fans are gonna hate. But
you're bringing Tatis top. I mean, you get right-handed. This is a platinum glove. It's just so much to love with Tatis. It's just the arm is amazing. Plus, I mean, speed. This is a guy would just transform this team, make this team so much better. And I mean, I'll take him as my leadoff hitter, bro.
Listen, if you're somebody that doesn't want to take Fernando Tatis on your baseball team, you should never be watching baseball ever again. I'm gonna just say that. Fernando Tatis is literally one of the best players in baseball today. This is a guy that is 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", playing shortstop.
Yeah.
So just imagine that. And then he goes out for a year because of the suspension or whatever, comes back, is playing a right field, which he's never played in his career, plays it as if he's been playing that his entire career. You forget that he was an infielder when he came into the league. It gives you 30 to 40 bombs a year and is a leadoff hitter? Like, why wouldn't I want to trade half my prospects for that? Like, come on. Like, I anybody that's not interested in that, I don't know what to tell you.
Not to like about Fernando Tatis Jr. Absolutely nothing not to like.
Nothing. And people are saying, well, San Diego's crazy for putting him on their trade block list. No, they're technically not. I mean, listen, they've put themselves in a hole when they gave him that extension. Okay, I understand why they did it, but you got to understand they gave up half their prospects away in trades, especially for Mason Miller. They're already taking, and Manny Machado is taking half that payroll up already, just based on his first contract and then the extension that they gave him. So they're trying to shed back a little bit. So who not better to have a discussion with with a team that's already ranked as one of the best farm systems in the league in the New York Mets? Why not have a conversation with them? See what you could get. And just go up on your day. You know what I'm saying? Like AG Preller has to understand, listen, I can't keep doing this for another year. Or I'm just gonna be thin and we're never gonna win and I can't rebuild. Or the rebuild process is gonna take even longer than what we expect. So, it's gonna be interesting to see what they do.
Shit.
I don't know.
I would include Benj plus Fernando Tatis Jr. would have to overwhelm Preller to get it done. Yeah, I would include Carson Benj in the trade. Hopefully Stearns is willing to do that trade. I know that this is Stearns' guy. That was his first, draft pick that he picked. Maybe he feels a little sentimental with him. I don't know, but I'll tell you this: we're talking about Fernando Tatis Jr., a guy that he's insane. And his father was played for the Mets before.
All right, that's another thing people forget.
When it comes to Tatis to the Mets, for me, if you're going to add Tatis, add him last. Get everything in a row and get everybody signed first. Get the pitchers, get the outfielders, get the first baseman, get whoever you have to get in here first. And then if you want to go for the kill, go for Tatis. You have to see what you have left over too, because we don't know what we're going to have to give up for those pitchers. And I think all four of us would agree starting pitching is the most important adds we have to do here.
Oh, definitely starting pitching. Starting pitching needs to be added.
And I mean 2, not 1, fellas.
I like
I
this
know it's
comment
been
right here.
reported.
There's a good comment right here. Tatis to Queens, Tatis to Queens, Tatis to Queens. My edits are gonna go hard.
You missed a few more Tatis to Queens.
Tatis
Look,
I did.
This is my Eddie. I think that you need to fill out the roster. I think that this Tatis thing, if the Mets get a Tatis, it's probably going to put them out of a Bellinger situation. You know what I'm saying? So
yes,
you're going to go after those guys first, and then where's the Tatis going to play? You know, so Tatis, you want to build your core because this is what you want to do. You just blew up the core. You want to assemble a new core. Go get Tatis first, and then you add.
Okay.
I mean, that's a good point.
I would say the last 2 questions for me is, then I'll give it to Flip, and then Eddie, and then Randy, you can answer. Your guy, Flip, I'll start with you. Obviously, your predictions on Marcus Semien. What type of year do you think he'll have? What are your predictions on the type of year that he'll have 2026 with us?
Gold Glove defense up the middle.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the bat, I mean, it's regressed significantly the last 2 years. I think we're gonna get a solid bat. You know what I'm saying? Like 15 to 20 home runs. Not much to ask for, but I think if we can settle for that and get strong defense up the middle, I'm all right with that, man. I'm not expecting a superstar on production offensively.
Eddie?
Okay, I brought this up when the trade first happened. I brought up that his first year in Queens is going to be a lot like Marte's first year in Queens. He's going to be that leader. I think he's going to revert back to who he was a couple of years ago. I'm not saying he's going to hit 30 homers and nothing like that, but I think you'll see early low 20 home runs, a lot of RBIs, not the best batting average in the world, maybe 250, something like that. He won't hit for the average that Marte did, but he's going to be a lot like Marte. He's going to provide that leadership. He's going to be the go-to guy in that clubhouse. He's going to lead it. This guy was one of the 3 captains in baseball. Like Flip said, he's going to bring you the Gold Glove defense. And I think it's a huge upgrade for the team, especially in the clubhouse. I think that's where it's going to be the difference. And I think it's going to be a different team this year with him.
Yeah.
Randy, let me know.
It's going to be hard. I think he's going to add a lot to the clubhouse. I think, going into this clubhouse, I think there's been some clubhouse issues. But I hope that he helps this clubhouse in a lot of ways. And I think he can. This is a guy that's captain material. I think he was the captain of the Texas Rangers, and they traded him, which is, I mean, trading your captain is wild. And I don't think a lot of people really talked about that. So, trading your captain is wild, and they traded Marcus Semien for Brandon Nimmo. So, I think he's going to add a lot to the clubhouse. I think offensively, he's going to hit around, I say 16 to 22 home runs. I think he's going to bat 275 around there. I don't know where he's going to bat, so I don't know what the RBIs would look like.
Down.
But do you think he's going to bat down? You think he's going to bat down in the batting order?
Yeah, I do. I think he was brought in here as a replacement to be the end to get that end of that batting order better.
So you got
I just don't see. If you're bringing Pete back, I just don't see them moving away from the Lindor leadoff, Soto number 2, Pete number 3 situation. I just don't, unless they want to mix it up and see how Semien does as a number 2 hitter, just to kind of give it a little bit. But it wouldn't make any sense to me. The one thing that
he's not that good of a hitter now.
Maybe he becomes a number 5. Yeah, maybe, but that's where Carlos Mendoza falls into all this in terms of where he possibly thinks Marcus Semien seems comfortable, and that's a conversation he needs to have with Marcus Semien. Again, Marcus Semien, like I said, well, we've all known this. He's been a captain, so as a guy that he can be trusted as a captain, you have that conversation with him and be like, where have you been most comfortable in your career within the batting order?
There there was a report today, or there was there was some report about Pete Alonso today, and about him that he's waiting for a type of offer. He's waiting for some bigger offer, or he's waiting for some type of offer. I wasn't surprised by this news. I didn't think that he was going to have this amazing market that a lot of people thought he was going to have. I want to open the conversation up. I mean, to Flip and Eddie, and then Top. What do you guys think about that Pete situation? How do you feel about that?
What?
I mean, look, what does Pete want? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you want? Because we know you're not going to get 7 years. You know what I'm saying? So where can we find that middle ground? Is it 4 years? Is it 5? 6 might be stretching it. What do you want, Pete? I know you want the 7 years, but meet us at the middle. And I don't know, man. I think with the report that came out today that Pete is looking for the next team to step in. This might carry a month or two before a team goes out and says, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to give you X amount. But the Mets can't afford to wait around.
Get Kyle Schwarber, and then you say, Pete, if you want to sign, great. If you don't, see you later.
Wow.
Like,
So you think that they could sign both?
If that's the way they're going to do, if you could get Pete at a reasonable rate, sure. Yeah, sign both. But if it's unreasonable, no. I personally would rather Kyle Schwarber over Pete Alonso.
I just think you're going to have so much competition with Kyle Schwarber from the Phillies.
Well, I mean, if that were one report that came out, which I think is total bullshit, him 4 for 100, I don't see that. I think he's a $30 million a year player at the minimum. I'm going to try to give him, I'd give him 5 years because he's only 32. And power's the last thing to go. You're going to have that for 5 years. Yes, I know it blocks off other people who could potentially become DHs, but I believe that Kyle Schwarber, he's just gotten better. I mean, he's gotten better and better. He's better now than he was 10 years ago. And he's the second best power hitter in baseball over the last 7 years. So get Schwarber first. And if you can get Pete, that makes it even better. I mean, your lineup is fucking deadly with Pete, Soto, Schwarber, Lindor, Simeon. I mean, that's a great, that's Dodgers-esque.
If you're gonna give Kyle Schwarber a 5-year deal, the only deal I could possibly think of that would make sense on a 5-year deal, which I don't even see teams giving Kyle Schwarber that. But if we're going based off what you're saying, Eddie, it would probably be a 5-year 150.
$30 million a year.
That's it. If they're trying to do that specific,
and try to get that deferred money, so then it's not as bad.
Yeah,
and he's a great fucking player. He's great.
I just don't. And he power wise, yeah. I just don't see them giving 5 years to Schwarber because he only does one thing, and that's DH. That's why. I don't think they're gonna look at that and be like, because he's a DH, yeah, he'll give you 30 home runs, but we'll give him a 5-year deal. I think that they're gonna try to do it a little bit less if they want to actually sign him.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
It's man, Stearns is cooking. He's making some moves.
Stearns is definitely cooking, but
he's in the kitchen. In the
kitchen. I think he's not. I think he's trying to send a message like, listen, Pete, you can say whatever you want, brother. That ain't stopping us from making other moves that we have to address. We went through this bullshit with you last time. You heard us verbally tell fans on Amazing Day that negotiations were frustrating with you, and maybe that had something to do more with Boris than it had to do with Pete. But if Pete himself is coming out and saying, yo, like he wants to see what team is going to step forward, that could either be a good thing or that could be a bad thing. Because depending on how Stearns is looking at this and how he's looking at the negotiations, who knows how this is going to turn out. But I'm glad that they're not waiting on him to then pivot somewhere else. They're like, yo, we're still going to address what we need to address. You figure out your shit, and when you're ready to come back and when you're ready to talk, we're going to be here. Because at the end of the day, you know that we're the number one team. You know that you did most of your history, most of what you've done with us. We should be your number one option compared to everybody else. Yeah. So if anything, what he should be doing is, if a Boston is knocking on his door, yo, what do y'all got? Okay, cool. You're offering me this. I'm going to go back to David Stearns and see if they want to match that. If they don't, I'm a Boston Red Sox.
Yeah. Top. I mean, it's funny because it's like we speak things to existence, and this all season we were talking about Brandon Nimmo being traded on multiple spaces. Pope didn't want to hear 1 second of it, 1 second of it, and it ended up happening that he got traded. Master Flip talked about Devin Williams. Remember Devin Williams? Can I sell you on Devin Williams? Now he's a New York Met. I mean, Eddie talking about Kyle Schwarber. We're speaking things to existence.
I took Devin Williams too, brother.
He said
And Devin Williams.
Specifically, Eddie
Devin
said
Williams.
8 days ago, before it was official today, he said that Devin Williams will be a New York Met.
Yeah, he did.
And
Yeah,
he said
Eddie
he will
did
be a
say
closer.
that.
I was watching that live when Eddie did that. So as much as people want to make fun or whatever, Eddie deserves his props. So does Flip, because Flip has been on Spaces multiple times, even before they said they were interested on Devin Williams, and has said, "Yo, I think a Devin Williams to the Mets would be a very good thing, would be an interesting thing." And again, it's here. I mean, look. Eddie, like I said, a couple of days ago, Eddie was talking about Kyle Schwarber. Today, the report came out that they're in the mix for Kyle Schwarber. So, listen, everybody keep talking about that Queens baseball spaces or these baseball spaces ain't the truth. They might be listening to us, man. I don't know. We might be doing their job.
Or just we know what the fuck we're talking about.
We know what we're talking about. We know what we're talking about.
Y'all gotta keep pushing the Tatis to Queens.
Go ahead.
Yeah, hashtag Tatis to Queens.
Don't allow nobody. No, listen. Don't allow nobody to throw no wet blanket on top of that. Tatis, not spam it. Spam it, baby.
Flip, top, Vandy. When it comes to Tatis, what's the package, man? Because let's be honest, this is like trading for Ken Griffey Jr. in his prime. You know what I'm saying? Like this guy's one of the top 5 best players in baseball, in my opinion.
Benj is gonna have to be in that deal. Benj. Okay. As much as David Stearns has preached that he wants to give Benj that opportunity in spring training, I do not see as big of an aggressive guy that AJ Preller is. I don't see him starting a conversation with, I want to see your other options besides Carson Benj. I think he starts with Carson Benj.
Okay. I got Carson Benj in the deal. I got Brandon Sproat in the deal. I got Santucci in the deal, because this is why they need pitching. The Padres need pitching.
They're about to lose too.
I got Jet Williams in the deal. So you're getting Benj, you're getting Williams, you're getting Santucci, you're getting Acuna and Clifford. That's the deal right there.
All right, so this is what I'm doing. I'm calling San Diego because the Mets got to be the one to make the phone call, right? I'm calling San Diego. I said, look, we got a top farm in baseball. Nolan McLean is not getting traded.
Yes.
Tell me what you want for Fernando Tatis Jr. We got a top farm in baseball. Pick them by twos. What do you want? They're yours. Give me Fernando Tatis Jr. here.
Now, the only things you got to ask yourself, do we have enough left over to go out and get an ace, to get a Joe Ryan, to get an Alcantara? Do we have that after?
Well, we're not going to have enough to get a Joe Ryan, because to get a Joe Ryan, we're talking about 2 top 5 prospects. That's like a Jet Williams, a Jonah Tung type package. And we're probably going to include those in a Tatis trade. We're not going to have enough for Joe Ryan. But for a Contra, you probably have to just trade a major league ready, like a Brett Beatty plus a Brandon Sproat type player. Yeah. You include those in it, you could probably get a Sandy Alcantara.
Flip, are you?
That's the only thing where I'm hesitant with the Tatis thing. His cost is tremendous, and we have so many positions in need.
He's worked it though. That's the thing. That's a one player where you're saying I will give up anybody besides Nolan McLean. It doesn't matter who. Hell, if I could do Benj, Williams, Tung, and Sproat, I'll do it in a heartbeat.
Are y'all giving up? I want to ask you guys. Are you guys giving up Carson Benj and Elian Pena for Fernando Tatis Jr. in that same deal? I want to ask that.
Well, who else, though?
You got Santucci. You got a Jet Williams.
That's a big fucking deal.
That's a big package, bro.
I don't know if I'm ready to do that. I got, like I said, that's why I said before, I would add Tatis last, because I got to get pitching first. I mean, we both know what killed us last year. That was pitching, starting pitching.
Okay,
I got to get them first.
You're not going all out for that trade for Fernando Tatis Jr.
Not if I got to get the pitching first, and then I'll talk Tatis. That's just me.
You don't think you get the pitching from free agents?
You can't ask Flip this question because he sees blood in the water.
No, I get
it. Don't matter who he trades.
Tatis is, again, like I said, he's a top 5 player in baseball.
Yeah,
It's just too bad he didn't play center field. It would be even better.
Oof.
That would
I'm
be
sure
like
he
the
could
perfect
play center field. I'm sure he could. He's amazing.
If he wanted to, yeah.
Flip, would you do that trade?
I mean, gun to my head. You know what I'm saying? Hashtag Tatis to Queens. I got to drive him to the airport, bro. I'm sorry.
Wow. You're trading Elian Pena too.
I mean, listen.
If it's a deal breaker, I'm saying Elian Pena, he's at what? He's our number 10th prospect. If I could give him something else, if I could give him a Ewing to sweeten the deal, if I could give him take Sproul, take Tong, I'd said take him by twos, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Grab him by twos. But gun to my head, if I gotta give up Elian Pena, I'll go pick him up at DR, bring him back, and drive him over there.
Do you guys think we could get Alcantara for something like Vientos, Mauricio, Vientos, Tong type of deal, like something like that, or is that not enough?
I don't think we're putting Tong in a Sandy deal.
Okay.
Are we flipped? Are we?
I mean, he's got to 2 year. The second half was solid. I watched him.
Man,
I watched him too, and I like him.
Very good.
I just
that's extremely aggressive. I would say maybe a Brandon Sproul, because you're talking about a top 40 guy in Jonah Tong for, you know what I'm saying, like 2 years of a contra. I understand the upside.
Maybe you just start there with Tong and then add like Mentos?
Even to begin the trade with a Jonah Tong, that's an overpay. You know what I'm saying, for 2 years.
Really?
Again, a Brandon Sproul, who's not
he's
a
top 40 prospect, Eddie. I guess that's
no, I know, but like we're talking about Sandy Alcantara. I mean, this is a guy a couple years ago.
Yeah, but that's a couple years ago. You're trying to sell me on the upside. You know, and I understand that because I saw him pitch in the last 2 months of the season. But you know what I'm saying, like, is he really gonna command a top 40 prospect? I don't think so.
Well, then if that's the case, fucking sign me up, man. I mean, you're telling me he's costing nothing. Get this guy over here. Let's get it done.
He's gonna cost something.
He's gonna cost
no,
something.
but not like what. It doesn't sound too expensive according to you guys.
I mean, I
think Miami's gonna look at it from a standpoint of, number one, it's the New York Mets, so that already sets the tone. And then on
we've
top
done
of
a
that,
ton of deals with them now. We've done a ton of deals over the years.
But for a guy that they value a lot, like, then they're gonna be like, all right, you guys want the high of the highs that we have. We're really gonna have to start charging and really have a conversation of like who we can pick. And then on top of it, it doesn't help that, again, ESPN has labeled us as one of the best farm systems in baseball. So now they're really looking at it as we get the pick of the pick. Bet. Let's see who y'all willing to give up, because you're not giving up. You're not getting Alcantara without giving up at least a top 10.
And we match up perfectly. Look, the Marlins are looking for a third baseman. We have probably the best third base, one of the best third base options out there, Brett Beatty. I think you guys are undervaluing his stock. And
not at all.
Put up Brett Beatty with a top prospect, not a top 5 guy, but a top prospect that could sweeten that could make a lucrative deal.
Absolutely.
You think you'd be interested in Mauricio, or no? Rather Beatty. What do you think?
The Marlins?
Beatty,
I think that the Marlins
Mauricio doesn't have a ton of upside.
I think Mauricio's I think teams would want him, but I think Marlins, they really like Beatty because they talked to us about it. They talked to the Mets about the trade with Edward Cabrera before. So I think there's still some interest there. Shout out to Sam, said you guys got lotto numbers. That's hilarious. But
Joe Matero in the building.
Joe
he said,
here, Matero.
Vientos, Winiger, and Reimer for Sandy and
Enriquez.
Sign me up.
Enriquez, I don't know about the plus, but Winiger is our top 13. Reimer, he's our top. Is he 6 or 7? I think he's 6. So our 6 are 13th and Vientos.
Not crazy. Not crazy. For 2 years you control?
I like it. I like it. I think Vientos plays well in Miami. He's a big,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like
He's from there, right, Flip? And he'll probably tear it up.
That state. He got a huge Nicaraguan family out there, presence in Miami. So he plays well with Vientos out there. He'd be a superstar.
Yeah. Ronnie Enriquez, that's his name. Ronnie Enriquez, right-handed pitcher for the Miami Marlins, 7-1 with a 2.22 ERA.
I think they're gonna keep Enriquez in a deal.
I mean, the Marlins are trying to compete. I don't see them parting with
right.
That's
absolutely.
Is he a bullpen arm? I think it was a bullpen arm. He must have been a bullpen arm. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he's a bullpen guy.
69 games. Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Like I said, I think the question stands of what they're going to do with Diaz now that Devin Williams is here, what the situation with Pete is. But like I said, I don't think we really get to hear more about the Pete thing until later on down the road. Probably maybe by the winter meetings, maybe by the end of December. Who knows?
And when are the winter meetings for the audience? So
December 7th to the 10th.
December. Yeah. Yep. There we go.
So 6 days. What do we got?
Who knows?
Sunday, that is?
Well, yeah. Today's this. Yeah.
Who knows? Listen, Juan Soto signed in the winter meetings.
Yeah.
So
he'd sign at the end, right, on the Sunday night.
Right.
Yeah.
And literally
Saturday
at 11, like literally at this time.
Yeah, it was super. It was kind of late.
So yeah, so
It was
who
like
knows?
around
Maybe
10 o'clock,
it happens within us. But yeah, man, David starts cooking. Devin Williams signed to the New York Mets on a 3-year deal. Very interesting. But shout out to you guys for making that bold prediction before it became official. You guys were calling it days before it was even happening. So shout out to Eddie and shout out to Master Flip. Make sure you guys follow them on X at Master Flip and at Eddie PRESTI. I got their links down below in the description. And for my Knicks fans who are also Met fans, make sure you guys give my guy Eddie a subscription to his YouTube channel at Knicks Edition. He breaks down the game in a knowledgeable way, goes in depth, and gives his true analysis on the game. So make sure you guys show my love at Knicks Edition on YouTube. Give him a subscription and just follow my guy Eddie PRESTI. My guy Randy. Appreciate you, bro. Make sure you guys follow Randy at Randy Talks Mets on X and YouTube, and make sure you give me a follow at Top Bunk Sports on X, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Make sure you guys like this live, share it, and give the channel a subscription. Thank you for the 900 plus that joined in, man. It's already 12 o'clock. I know a lot of y'all got work tomorrow, so appreciate y'all taking the time to vibe out with us. Everybody in the comments that kept us entertained, we appreciate y'all. This is episode 6 of Mets on Top, and we will catch you guys on the next video. Peace out.